Hello, it is Monday, May 19th. Happy Victoria Day. Um, this is, this is just, it's a holiday weekend. So, and I wasn't sure if this would affect us. Plus, we're doing this an hour earlier because I have to go to bed. So I think the way that these scheduled, and that's one thing I wanted to check, was the calendar of when we have these set, because it might be on every time I'm on days. So we might want to change it so that I'm on afternoons and don't have to go to bed so early. If we want to continue it at 7 o'clock. Otherwise, it'll be on 6 o'clock.
I'm good with 6 o'clock. I actually prefer the earlier than
Okay,
the
perfect.
later.
Then we're
So,
going to change it till 6 o'clock then.
okay, perfect. I
That'd be good. Because
that works for me.
even in the summertime, right? You 6 o'clock and then have an hour meeting, and then you can still go outside from 7 to 9 because the sun doesn't go down till 9, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's great. Okay. So I wanted to ask you that. So that's good. So our next meeting would be June 16th.
Beautiful. So June
Yeah.
16th, and then maybe because the topic of today was going to be just open conversation to any questions that people had, um,
Mhm.
any questions, that we could answer, and, just share anything in terms of numerology that we've been experiencing in our lives. So that's what we'll discuss. But yeah, so I guess the next one will be Monday, June 16th.
Mhm.
Wonderful. At 6 p.m.
Yeah, we're changing it to 6 p.m., right? So
Perfect.
there we go. We just had a discussion over that one, and
Perfect.
yeah, okay.
So moving
Awesome.
forward, everybody, whoever's going to be watching this, I know that today is a holiday, and but it's all good because I know that for anyone who's interested in hearing what we have to share for this topic, could watch the replay, which is wonderful. And yeah, so moving forward, when we have, and we'll always announce during our sessions, and we'll post within the group when our next monthly live will be. So, but moving forward, instead of it being from 7 to 8, we'll do from 6 to 7. And hopefully that works for everyone. And yeah, go from there. So,
Perfect.
perfect. So would you like to start with intros, darling?
Sure. Yeah, we can do the intros. You want to go first? You go first. Because
All right.
I always go first. Yeah, I think I always go first. You go first.
All right. Well, as most of you know, my name is Maria Esposito, and I am the founder and owner of Revolution9, a wholeness training and wellness consulting company. I am for lack of a better title, I'm not much of a title, but I'm a conduit psychic healer, helping people to guide people to their release, awareness, healing, and revolutionary change within whatever aspect in their life. And I use, and I, as a wellness trainer, I use the beautiful tools of hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, and of course, numerology, and bring those intuitive, these beautiful divination tool um, and abilities and intuitive abilities in helping my clients heal. I'm really starting to put a focus on groups, so stay tuned for a lot of really fun events. Moving up the chain, I have my voluntary event with the YMCA and upcoming McBain Center sessions, that are look for people that are looking to explore hypnotherapy. So yeah, so yes, I do, and I'm still at Thrive on Tuesdays. So anyone who's looking for one-on-one sessions, I still have my Tuesday days, and also virtually. So kind of getting out there, things are shifting and changing, and that's what it's all about. Sometimes you just need to have that behavioral flexibility to just be open to change sometimes, and but there's definitely a lot of changes going on personally and within work. And sometimes, as my beautiful partner Scott says, you got to embrace the change. Especially when you're in a year 5, or if you're dealing with, if there's 5s in your codes, right? Because that's
Oh.
all about change and embracing.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
destiny number is 14-5.
there you go.
Uh,
14 is my favorite number. That's always been my favorite number. So I'm not surprised that it's in your codes. I love the number 14. And it's always like in even some of my passwords and things, I use the number 14 because from when I was a teenager, I've always resonated with that number. Yet it's
oh,
not in my code. It's not in my codes, but that is, I always considered it my lucky number, believe it or not. Yeah. I've always
yeah,
resonated
just
with
because it's not in your code doesn't mean that yeah, they don't have, yeah, you can have
significance.
whatever lovely number that you want. And it's funny because for you, the 4 is already in your code, and the 1, I don't know if the one might is, do you have a 1 anywhere in your code?
Yeah, I think I have an 11. I have an 11 two code, and I
11,
think
yeah,
it's, yeah. So I do have ones, but not in my main codes. Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Even my back end, I call it the back end 3 codes, the 777.
There you go. Love it.
Funny.
That's a powerful number too.
It is.
777. You don't see a lot of those. I don't see a
No.
lot of triple sevens, believe it or not. I do sometimes
No.
I see them sometimes in price points,
Hmm.
but no, I don't really see a lot of 7, but that's a very powerful code. Just like
Hmm.
888, you don't see a lot of 888s, at
Yeah.
least for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Neat. Yeah. So, um, oh, I'll do my intro.
Yes, I was just gonna say.
Hi, I'm Laura Canal. I am the founder of Miles and Smiles Alternative Solutions. I am a reflexologist, an energy healer, master Reiki, master aqua lead, master healer out of Lilydale. I am a numerologist and an astrologist, and I use all of these different divination tools. And it's funny because the first divination tool that I believe that I ever had, or and still have, is the foot. I can read energy off the foot. I didn't even know what energy healing was. I didn't know what Reiki was. And I was a reflexologist, and then it led me into all the energy and feeling into the energies. And you know what? The numbers are the same way. We feel into these numbers. We use these numbers, and even in astrology, we use the planet. So everything has an energy to it. And it's funny, I had a conversation with a friend of mine last week, and we were talking about like the mind and how our minds work and how we can change what our outcome of things are because we can implement it into our mind and we can change it. So the old saying is, this is funny. The old saying is, I'm too old to change anything. This was what was happening, right? I heard it from my neighbor. I heard it from my friend. I heard it from coworkers. I heard it from, I'm like, no, 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 you're not old. And they're younger than me, but you're not too old to change things because you can. So that one of the biggest parts of my work, my business is about mind. So all of my codes, and then maybe that's why I do the mind thought and changing people's mind. There's an article on my homepage of my website, milesandsmiles.ca, and it talks about the mind. You can make yourself happy, you can make yourself sad, It's all in your mind. You can make yourself ill, you can make yourself healthy. It's what you input in your mind. So mind thought is big. And that's one thing with my codes. I'm 159777. So the mind thought triad, and that's one thing that maybe we'll set into today, Maria, about talk
Ah,
about the triads. Because
yeah.
the mind thought triad is all about the structures of the mind, your intuitive abilities, because that's also so intellect or intuition is both part and parcel of the mind.
Mm.
So whether you're, leaning towards your intuition or your intelligence, it's the same thing. You can change it. You just have to tap into that wisdom keeper within you. That
Yes.
was long-winded.
No, not at all. But you know what, triads, that's excellent. That is a beautiful, because I don't think we've ever actually discussed the triads, which again is another layer within numerology,
I
and
don't
which
think we ever
brings
did.
no, and it's such a powerful topic because we've always referenced the triads,
Mm-hmm.
but we've never actually discussed it. So that's beautiful. We were, and you were guided to that, so that's perfect.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
triad is beautiful. It's just like, there's so many layers. It's like peeling an onion, just like the mind. The mind is like an onion. Numerology, there's so many
Oh,
different
yeah.
layers upon layers, just like astrology. Same thing with astrology. There's so many layers to it that contribute to that whole, and it's having, and when we know everything, we're pretty much done. We'll never ever know everything. So, and that's not the purpose of life, is to ever be done, right? So,
Right.
so it's having that base knowledge and understanding of all these different layers. Um, that and it brings something different to the table when you try to put all these pieces together, and what the message and what it's actually telling you, um will only contribute to whatever it is that you're seeking, whatever it is, the answers you're looking for, or even just simply deciphering what those messages are, and all these different pieces will bring something different to the table, which is beautiful. So, really
Yeah.
beautiful. That's great. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you'd like to, how would you like to start with the triads? So, um, it's not really much other than, each of our codes, when you're looking at the numbers, there's the three sets of triads. Like you referenced the mind thought triad, you
Right.
know, and then the secondary, we have the manifestation triads,
Right.
which are the two, four, and the two, four, and the eight, right? So
Yeah.
which and maybe even just discussing what each of them represent, because each of those numbers
Yeah.
within those triads have, a certain meaning to them, you know. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's like key words to each of the triads, right?
mhm,
That they kind of insightfully mean, right?
exactly. All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. And then so yeah, the third set we have which is um the three and the six and the nine, which that is the beautiful, and that's kind of the creativity and self-expression, and again, those are kind of some of the few of the keywords within that triad, creativity, self-expression. Yeah, I know there's a few other ones that describes, that last triad as well, if you'd like to share, Laura.
Yeah, sure. Like, you know what? With the 369, the word empathy
Mm,
also always comes into it because empathy goes with all of them, 3, 6, and 9. There's
yeah.
it's very artistic or nurturing. It's social and enthusiastic. So the number 3 is very much about self-expression or expression. The
Mm,
6 is the nurturer and the 9 is the teacher.
that's right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's very powerful in sharing the ideas.
Hmm.
That's an idea, um, creative idea triad. So it's feeling artistic triad,
And
but it,
it's very emotional. There's a lot of with those three numbers. There's a lot of that love, compassion, um,
mhm,
you know, empathy, like you said.
yeah,
It's very emotion based, but that's where creativity comes. It doesn't come analytically. It
that's right.
could. It comes from internally. So
Right.
beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful triad. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we talked about, did we talk about the 248 manifestation triad? Did we
No,
go
I
deep in it?
referenced it. No, we didn't. But
Let's
by
go
all means.
deep. Let's go deep.
There we go. I love the manifestation try. Well, you know what? It's interesting because each of the two, the four, and the six. So I have the four as my day of birth, 31/4.
Yeah.
And so the I'm very attuned to a lot of fours, which is all about that foundation. It's all about process. So that's the four in the triad is all about that's the working number. The way I look at it, it's kind of like the working number. It's the process,
Mm, yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of like the beginning. It's more of the number that comes up with the ideas and initiates, where the four is all about that process and implementing. And then the eight, you could share the eight. The eight is a beautiful number. It kind of brings it all together. That's kind
Yeah,
of how
the
I
8 is very empowered. It's like the empowered leader. It's the money frequency, but knowing there is enough to go around and it's an infinite energy as well, the number
right.
8.
Yeah.
It's funny that, you know what, I was thinking today, because I was doing gardens all day. I was out in the gardens.
Which is
What
all
is
creative work.
creative work, but what is the number that really connects to earth, connects to gardens? And I would say it would be the manifestation, like, because the number 4 is so connected to it is work for sure. It's all about organizing and orderly and discipline, but it's also connected to the earth
Hmm.
because of the grounding, right? So,
Right. It is
yeah,
foundation. It's a foundational number, 100%.
yeah.
Mm.
So I was trying to find what a number that connects to like gardens would be. Could be
Hmm.
either the number 4 or the number
Or the seven.
7.
Seven. I was gonna say the seven, 100%. So, and
Yeah,
it's interesting because when you look at it, like in numerology, the seven is all about that nature aspect, being out in nature.
yeah,
People with
yeah.
seven need to be either in close proximity or need to invest time in getting out into nature, grounding,
Right.
and connecting with the elements, right?
Hmm.
But it's funny. So when you said that, I said seven is a very big one, but yes, but when you're looking, see, and that's the beauty of numerology. Like when you're dealing with all these different aspects, things kind of shift and change a little bit. So
Yeah,
in normally a four, you really wouldn't look at it as being a nature number. Yes, a grounding number and foundation,
yeah,
100%. But in
yeah,
the triads, I completely agree with you because it is a foundational number and it's rooted.
yeah.
It's rooted to that grounding aspect.
Hmm.
So that's beautiful. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. So, and it,
Yeah,
again, manifestation is manifestation. So, when you're looking at the two, the four, and the eight, it's they work in tandem with each other because the two kind of initiates and it comes up with the ideas in a heart-centered space. And then the four kind of is that implement, grounding, foundation, implement,
yeah,
and then the eight kind of is the leader, like you said. It's that infinity. It has that innate understanding of that manifestation frequency and understands and respects that. and brings all of that together. So very, very powerful, beautiful triad. So,
Hmm.
mhm. And then, like you said, the analytical mind
Yeah.
thought, those are so like you, when you look at like when we do our natal chart readings as a whole, and if you're looking at all my numbers, I'm very heavy, just like you, in that mind thought triad as well. So most of my numbers lie in the mind thought, but I also have a good balance with my creativity and that 369, that emotional
Mm.
self-expression triad as well. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say balance. I'm still more heavier in the analytical, in the mind thought,
Yeah.
but there's a bit of a balance where I have the manifestation area is, I do have codes there, but primarily it's those two areas, two
Mm.
triads. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, in the manifestation triad, I'm actually missing the 2 and the 8. Those are 2 numbers I'm missing.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go.
So it's funny, but throughout my life, I learned how to be diplomatic and be the team player. So the number 2 is all about that diplomacy, the support, the team player. I had to learn that in this lifetime.
Mm,
That wasn't something that came with me.
mm,
And the number 8, if you're missing the number 8, it's really not a big deal. You can still have the money, you can still work with that. It's not a big deal. The process, I really had limited. I only have one number 4 in my name.
mm,
That's all I have is one number 4. So if you really look at it, I had to work at learning how to process things, learning how to have support, and learning how to help other people and work together in tandem with other people. So that whole manifestation triad, I had to learn in this lifetime
there you go.
because
Yeah.
I'm heavy, heavy with the mind thought. Like it's all mind,
Yeah.
except for the number 9.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's beautiful because you have a brilliant mind. So I could totally relate and see exactly where, and I think that's where we get along in that sense that we understand each other. Like we never fully truly understand each other, but in the sense
No,
that we could relate and have that experience of having that analytical and respecting the laws around, that logical.
yes, yes. So if we're going to dig deep into the mind thought triad, um, there's a lot of words like the thinker, the analytical, the intellectual. Curiosity actually goes with these numbers too, or focus, ambition.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%. Those are really powerful. Curiosity, so working with the unconscious space, I always say, to my clients, I find that as we get older, when you're a young child, they are so full of curiosity. And, growing up, it's almost like it gets beaten out of us. Life kind of kicks us in the butt, and we lose that innate inner child, that curiosity that connected to the inner child. But it's a mind thing. That curiosity, 100% is definitely a mind thing. Be open to everything. Like Wayne Dyer says, be open to everything and attached to nothing. Be curious about everything, ask questions, and never lose that, even in your adulthood, because
Yeah,
it's a very powerful mind tool because it's connected to that inner child. So
that's
very
right.
powerful.
That's right. And in this triad also, it's connected to the mystical, the magical, the magnetic, and the psychic because
Mm,
of the number 7, right?
Kevin, that's right. Yes,
Uh,
yes,
and, and funny because if you look at the number 1 and the number 7, I believe both of them connects from heaven to earth.
that's right.
Yeah.
So keeping in mind, and this is, I just wanted to share this point, even though
Mhm.
when we look at the triad, so in particular the mind thought, the mind thought, there's still a key thing with those codes of 1, 5, and 7. There's still an element of balancing that mind with intuition, because numerology
Mhm.
is a spiritual divination tool. So even though the energy is very strong around that analytical left brain aspect,
Mhm.
it's so pivotal to have that understanding that it's also numbers of balance, balancing that intellect, because it's the intellect that actually deciphers that intuition. So they go in tandem with each other, so when you're able to connect and be really, because the 7 to me is a very intuitive, is a very powerful, very spiritual, very intuitive number. And you get those lightning insights. So really having that, being open to those downloads and using that analytical brain to decipher and to really have an understanding of, and deciphering what that meaning is, and then having that for myself, because of the traumas and things that I endured in my life, I found that being in a state of survival mode, I really relied heavily on my analytical mind, and I didn't trust my intuition,
Mm.
and I think people that have come from, and to some degree, we've all gone through traumatic events. And when you recognize what that state of survival is, and you notice that, you don't have that trust, that you really have to rely on that very small part of the brain, the conscious mind, that analytical is such a small, minute part of who we really are. So it's very crucial to have that understanding that if you're like Laura and I have a lot of those analytical mind thought codes, you also have to be very open to embracing your intuitiveness, because there's a lot of intuitive energies within that triad as well.
Hmm. Very
Yeah,
much so. Yeah.
yeah. So beautiful.
But
Yeah,
I like the number 5 in this because number 5 is all about the balance of it, weighing things out in order to find answers. This gives you the flexibility, the changeability, the freedom, the learning through experience of life.
mhm.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is. Embrace the change.
Oh God, I do it every single day.
Oh, trust me. And there's a lot of things going on these days. So I trust me, and I'm very cognizant of, using, cycles, another level of numerology, right? And we're in a year 9 universally. I'm in a 15/6,
Yeah.
personally. So it's, there's yes, last year I endured a lot of changes. Being in a 14/5, a
Mhm.
lot of changes, but now it's bringing all those changes, picking up the pieces, healing, and
Mm.
responsibility, and being in a space of responsibility and self-healing, self-love. But yeah, it's also interesting, because even just looking at those cycles, and then bringing in the triads with that, so it's beautiful when you're able to bring all the little pieces together. Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm in a year 6,
Hmm.
but I'm 2 weeks out from entering my year 7.
Evan, that's right.
Yeah. So
You're getting to that close. So year 7, that's
year
good. That's
7.
powerful. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
powerful.
It's
a
interesting, year 7. Like it kind of like is experiencing things in nature, but it's your intuition and
Yes.
really, really those intuitive insights coming through. And I want to say that I've already started embracing a lot of that coming through. So I'm in the year 6. And yeah, so beginning of April was 6 plus 4 was actually a new beginnings month for me. And there was a lot of changes, a lot of things that started being initiated in April for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I found that very fascinating. Now I'm
excellent.
in May, and May is actually 11 for me, 11. But in universal, in the cycles, you talk about the cycles. So today is Monday, and I always put a daily message for the cycles, daily message of the universal energy. And today is May 19th. So the numbers, the code numbers for today are 9, 19, 14, and 33.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and if you go on to the numerology, what is numerology group that we have, then you could see the message they put. I'm just going to read it. The
Mm,
energy of initiation is strong this week, fostering independence and self-sufficiency, creating an enchanting aura that draws others to you. Your potent creativity, accompanied by your inner knowing, is a powerful force of manifestation driven by an inherent action and a focus on completion. The selfless giver's influence intensifies a call to serve with unconditional love, urging you to act with profound care and responsibility for the collective good. Be mindful, however, of insecurities that could lead you to indecisions or self pity, and guard against excessive secrecy, which may have negative consequences.
mm. Wow. Beautiful.
Mm,
Love
yeah.
it. Thank you. Thank you so much for that share. That was lovely.
Yeah, that was, yeah. So it's on our What is Numerology? It's on my Miles of Smiles group, Facebook page as well, and on my Instagram. Yeah, I just put it everywhere. So yeah, I like doing these quotes. I only do them on Mondays,
Mm,
and because I think there would be time. They're not that time consuming, but they do take time.
mhm.
Hmm.
100%. Well, they're beautiful. And we all appreciate the share. We
Oh
do.
yeah, there's fun, fun.
That's
Yeah.
lovely. So I don't know if you wanted to, we could wrap this up and how do we want to conclude, with this talk on triads?
So the triads, I believe, are a balance of the three different ideas, categories, if you will. And sometimes it's a good balance, but understanding. Maybe this is something we can talk about next time, because we have gone pretty extensive on what people's codes are, like their day of birth, their life path, their
Yeah,
destiny. People pretty much know how to finagle them.
yeah.
The other ones are your soul, your personality, and your essence. The essence is only adding up your day of birth with the
Mm,
month. So my day is June 1st, and June is my month. So June is the sixth month of the year, and one, so 6 plus 1 makes 7. That's my essence number. But the other two are derived from your destiny number. And so what we could look at is missing numbers.
mm,
If anybody is missing numbers or not missing numbers, um, you do it by looking at your destiny number and then all your codes as well.
yes.
So, and sometimes in your
And that's all
lifetime,
six codes, and that's all six codes
that's
to
all
reference
six
everybody.
codes.
That's
Yeah.
all six, not just your
Yeah.
three main. That's right.
So it's even your destiny, like, so you would even look at your name, your destiny name, your name at birth when you're doing with the Pythagorean alphabet. and you're looking at all those numbers under all of those letters, it's derived from that too. So you look
That's right.
there, you look at your codes, and I'm missing 2 and 8
Mm,
in all of that, right? So
yeah. See?
that's
And
kind
for
of,
me, it's the eight. And for me, it's the eight. That's what I'm missing is the eight.
and they say that it doesn't really affect you, but I do believe that there's lessons with money
Mm-hmm.
with the 8.
Yes.
There's definitely lessons with money. And like
Yes.
we all get lessons with money, but I think more so than anything else, that if you're missing a number 8, it's the lessons with the money is the biggest thing.
Mm,
And that's
yeah.
what I'm finding. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm dealing with right now, right?
Yeah.
That
Interesting.
lessons with money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So it's interesting because for me, I've always eight is the money frequency, but it's a very abundant number. I find it to be a very abundant number, and I find that I've been able to um, having that understanding which numerology has given me, I've always been able to manifest and, like you said, create that frequency in a certain way. The main thing for me, it's that going back to that energetic, it's the energetic perspective of that money frequency. It's not
Right.
the tangibility, it's not the analytical aspect. And I find that when it's manifested in that heart-centered space and giving, and really I like to really, I respect the rules of reciprocity, so it's that give and take, so you could still create that abundance in different ways that eight brings. And I found that I being knowing and working with that I've been able to create that manifestation in different ways, inclusive of finances. But I find for me, it's really has to be in that heart-centered reciprocity, giving back in different ways, and it
Mm.
always does come back, and that's a key thing. And it's understanding how that works for you, because how I manifest that eight with it being missing in my codes, it's learning how do you create, how does that, how do you create that, because what works for me may not work for you. And
That's
that's
right.
so it's all about that journey, right? It's going through the journey and trying different things. It's trial and error, right? And listening to your intuition is the biggest part, and that's sometimes sometimes that analytical brain could, that ego could definitely deter you from that,
Right.
especially if you align in that space, you know so
Well, I
interesting.
think it's also about your relationship with money too, right? We have a relationship with everything, but relationship with money is something that we don't delve into enough, right? We just think that things, if we work harder, faster, longer, that we're going to get what we need, or, we can manifest things to bring it closer to us, or whatever the process you're doing. But since when did I start? I think I started in January, I believe, my relationship with money and how I needed to go forward with creating more money for myself, and or reconnecting with that relationship with my money instead of thinking thinking it'll thinking it'll come
Yeah,
without maybe not doing the work.
yeah,
I think that was one of the things that, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So anyways, yeah, you're right. Everybody's different on how they go forward with that. But yeah,
yeah,
this
and
is
create that
definitely, and the number six is a wealth creation number. So being
manifest.
in that year 6 could be healing, but for me, it was healing that relationship with money. So that was the biggest part of my healing for the year. and the biggest part of what I needed to really tap into for the wealth creation.
Beautiful. Love it. Well,
Yeah.
this was wonderful. This was again another wonderful chat. It's always a pleasure. I really enjoy doing these calls with you. So this is
Hmm.
wonderful. So we will
Yeah.
definitely, excuse me, we will definitely reconvene in 4 weeks from now. And we said it was the 16th
The
at
16th, yeah,
6 p.m.
at
Love
6 p.m.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, it was, thank you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody who watches the replay. I know
Hmm.
today is a holiday, so everybody's enjoying and it's a beautiful weather. So, for anyone who watches this replay, please, join our What's Numerology, because this will also be posted on our YouTube channel, Facebook group, What is Numerology? If you find value in this video, please subscribe, like, share, share this to people that might need to hear this, and join our Facebook group if if you have a Facebook account, and curious, right? Going back to that curiosity and,
Curiosity.
learning more about this beautiful divination tool of numerology.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. And yeah, we'll
Holidays.
see.
And I owe people an apology. If you could not find the link, I apologize. I thought that it was somewhere on the event. I couldn't find it, then I forgot to put it on the event. And then I put it on the what is numerology. Anyways, we'll get this.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
technology is always changing, so it's all good. No
Yeah.
apologies necessary, but this was, thank you. Thank you, Hun, for this time and sharing this space together. And
Mhm.
yeah, and we will definitely see all of you in a month from now.
All right. And bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, there we go.